who would you say is like your kind of target customer?
People who know, like, okay, this is a fashion brand, but more than that, this is a movement, this is a culture, this is something that brings people together.
All right, we're back with No Followers Podcast. Bob T, Shane on the board with us.
Nice to meet y'all. Nice to meet you.
Shane, you got to tell the people what you're doing.
So I'm the founder and owner of Shane Kyiretwie, the fashion label. I created it 2 years ago as a hybrid between culture and art, showing people, just educating, the masses on how we get our stuff basically over here, what are we wearing? What kind of textiles are we, putting on our body? Like, how do we represent it in the right way?
You're incorporating textures and cultures and kind of synthesizing those together. But that's your mission. Mm-hmm. That goes beyond the product.
Yeah.
How do you use that mission to explain or to drive business decisions going forward? Because some people say, I have a mission, and then they start making decisions that are brand disconnects, off-brand, doesn't make any sense for the company.
I was going to say, how do you use it to decide what's on brand and what's not? Like, what will have your brand on it versus what will never have your brand on it?
Well, first and foremost, having partnered up with people that always show respect to, people who wear it, the people who don't, the customers, just also, making sure that it's related to sustainable issues that's going on in my industry. This is the second highest polluted industry that we have so far. And I don't want to be tagged along with anything that's, labeled with fast fashion and things that are going to just dismiss, old, what could be new. And so, that's how I basically try to drive that into my business decisions. What's an ethical path I could take? What can I see that's all right, but I can look forward to, having this kind of partnership because it stands by what I represent. It's not just wasteful, it's not disrespectful. It's something that's cultured. It's something that's, going to show people that, hey, you can recycle this.
So are you using that as a filter with all your supply chain vendors, partners? You're using that across the board?
Absolutely.
So how do you do that? How do you filter that out?
I study them. I make sure I, look at their resume. I'm always doing my research on different companies that I'm looking up, and I'm always catching tab. Like, I'm seeing from a distance what's going on, and maybe later down the line I can mess with that, or maybe down the line it's like, hey, they're good, but it's not what I'm looking forward to doing.
But so what are kind of so in design thinking, we call that, we'll do an exercise where you do design priority ranking, right?
Yeah.
So we preach all the time that if you try to do more than 3 things with a product or a brand, you're probably going to get lost in the shuffle. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to be kind of middle of the pack instead of going I'm the best at one thing. But in order to get to that, we encourage people to do a priority ranking, right? So you go, all right, one of your design priorities is eco-sustainability, which I'm sure makes its way into not only the actual product, but packaging, shipping, everything like that. Mm-hmm. What are some of your other kind of design priorities when deciding, you're going to come out with a new article of clothing or whatever it is, whether it's a sweatshirt or whatever it might be? What are some of the other things that you kind of prioritize in trying to make those design decisions?
The things that I want to prioritize in making those design decisions is, just as I rarely did back before, just looking at the companies that, are tagged with that, you know what I mean? And, stuff like this comes from the box itself. This comes from, I believe, Mo. Mo does a great job with basing their products off of sustainability, recycling old cardboard and, making it into a new. And when you talk about top to bottom, the garments itself, Independent Trading Co., great company, you know what I mean? They do a well job at just recycling their fabrics and, making sure that people aren't just, things that could be used again, you know what I mean? We could still, give this to a new consumer.
Yeah. So, that's all definitely sustainability focus for sure. Mm-hmm. But what about actual stuff? Because I see your sweatshirt, that's one of your products, right? The sweatshirt you're wearing. So what drove you to that design, to the whole thing, top to bottom? Other
my
than
culture.
the sustainability.
My culture, just growing up, just, you know what I'm saying, I'm West African. So I grew up with my dad, and, you know, he was just someone I always looked up to as far as, you know what I'm saying, as far as looking towards my heritage, you know what I'm saying, just always teaching me where I came from. In the household, it was evident, like, as soon as you walked in, it was a West African household. It was Ghanaian, straight up. So you see the sewing machines, Kente Cloth right there being sewed up. And so that's what kind of like inspired me to like do something like this. It wasn't just the Kente Cloth itself. It was just the preparation, you know what I'm saying, of how this, you know what I'm saying, garment construction, how this gets done just right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing a process as a 5-year-old kid from top to bottom, just simply right in front of you. And the adults didn't even know it in the room.
So where do future inspirations come from for you?
Future inspirations?
For new product.
For new product? Just looking back, I'm a huge history buff. You know what I mean? I love history. That was my favorite subject growing up. When I was a kid, everybody was reading fictional books. I was reading, you know, everything that was real. You know what I'm saying? I always was looking at other people and getting inspired by that due to my circumstances. So just looking back in the time periods, like, you know what I'm saying, this right here, this has been going back since, you know what I'm saying, the 1600s. You know, looking at the Edo period for my next collection, it's, you know, something that's, you know, is based in Japan, based in the 1600s, and mixing that up with anime, you know, mixing it up with not just history, but popular culture, what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Just blending that all in. And that's really been my inspiration so far. It's just looking at my surroundings and looking at different things. Like this room, for example, I could take the ceiling and, you know what I'm saying, look at the architecture and just be like, wow, I could create a design out of this, just seeing the theme of it, you know what I mean?
The path from West Africa to Japan, though, how did you decide? And like, you're in West Africa, I get the story, right? But then to jump to Japan seems to be disconnected a little.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a diverse neighborhood. I'm, you know what I'm saying, everywhere I go, it's just different people and different experiences and different cultures. I have people in my family that are Christian, Jewish, Muslim. I have people in my family that's Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Middle Eastern. So it's like I'm always in the mix of just seeing different things going on around me. And I've always taken it to heart because I was always taught to just respect other people and just respect just your surroundings and understanding everybody's experiences and just taking that to heart and expressing that through my designs and what I do.
Was there a trigger that led you to Japan next? Like, was there one moment you're like, that's what I got to do next?
Yeah, Shogun. The show
the
Shogun.
FX show?
Yeah, just watching it, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so, you know, that just looking at that, it was like, okay, that's what I want to do next. And just looking at it and, you know what I'm saying, just researching the show, going deeper into the time period that the fashion was in, I was like, wow, okay, maybe I could do something with that. And so that's where it kind of came out to be.
Who would you say is like your kind of target customer?
I would say people that are into something that's new, that doesn't see them as just a consumer, you know what I'm saying? People who know, like, okay, this is a fashion brand, but more than that, this is a movement, this is a culture, this is something that brings people together. I want people who are conscious about what they're wearing and respect what they're wearing and love what they're wearing. Like, you're wearing your Fabro shirt. Yeah, exactly. So you're proud of that. You know what I'm saying? You're not just going to walk outside and not just want to have it intentionally dirty or intentionally something go wrong with it. Like you're proud to wear that. I'm proud to wear this because it's not only just my heritage. It's not only just because of where I'm from. It's just educating people like, oh, where'd you get that from? Oh, well, I got it from such and such. And how did you, like, what was the, wow, like how did they come up with this pattern? And it's like, yeah, because of how he grew up, you know what I'm saying? It's based on Ghanaian heritage, so stuff like that.
So do you have like an informational or an educational aspect to when people buy? Like, is there like a tag or like a website link that says like what Kente Cloth is?
Well, I got my website up, and so on my website you can see it right there. Slap datum on what the collection was basically inspired by. It was inspired by the story of my last name. And so to make a long story short, there was a king who commanded his soldiers to go into the village and bring back this leopard alive because it was attacking everything. And once they did, he gave them the name Tree. And looking that up, it means the leopard catcher or the lion catcher. And so I was like, okay, that's a great step on to telling people not only my journey or my last name, but exposing that to the brand. Like, you know what I'm saying? And what you brought about, like the storyline, you know what I'm saying? My last name itself is a story. You know, the Kente Cloth itself is a story. Everything that I'm doing, presenting to you, comes from somewhere that, you know what I'm saying, once you deep dive into it really, and once I educate you, you're going to understand where it all came from.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Can you share some of your journey, lessons learned, best practices, things you kind of screwed up along the way? Because we all screw things up, right? Because a lot of the people that are listening or watching are behind you, right? You've already launched product. You're going on a second collection.
Yeah.
They're still working on their first product. So any words of wisdom, because they stopped listening to T&I a long time ago.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, come on. Okay, so one of the things that I messed up on was I started this whole journey. I'm 24 now. I started this when I was 19, just when I graduated. And so I knew that I had something. So I wanted to just create an LLC, you know what I'm saying, learn how to, you know what I'm saying, looking online how to create a business and going through a registered agent and through Northwest at the time. And I created it right there, boom, bam, in my bedroom. And so it was good. But then COVID hit, and then But besides that, it was just that I didn't know really what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I have a business on name, but nothing else besides that. So now it's like, okay, cool. What can I do to, you know what I'm saying, educate myself? So that's when I've always known Carmen Duncan. And so that's when she introduced the Fashion Edition Institute to me. And that's where I kind of, you know what I'm saying, gained a lot more knowledge with other designers. And so, you know what I'm saying, I kind of furthered, you know what I'm saying, myself into knowing what I wanted to do now, you know what I mean? And so that was the biggest mistake, not knowing what to necessarily do, all this paperwork. I'm like, operating agreement. I got to create a business bank account? Like, what the? And so just trial and error, just learning as I go along with it. And just, you know what I'm saying, just making sure that I'm staying up to date with the paperwork and understanding what the fundamentals of what's going on around me. Yeah.
I love the fact that you went right into the mistakes you made first and not the glory times, because a lot of people just sit there and talk about how great they are. So thyink you. I apprete that, brother. I really do.
Where can people find you if they want to look you up?
ShaneKyiretwie.com. And that handle that I just told you, it's on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Just look my name up and you're going to find me right there and there. I also got a podcast coming up, same as y'all. It's going to be called Fly. That's my nickname. And so what I want to basically have it is what's going on right here. Just, you know what I'm saying, interviewing other entrepreneurs in my industry and, you know what I'm saying, just chopping it up and seeing what we could do to further just fix it and, you know, bring other topics along too, like art, what's going on in music, what's going on in just, you know, in general culture. And so also, you know, having a sort of like a tag along with me, you know what I'm saying? You're joining me with my fashion shows or my business space and so on and so forth, just sharing my journey with everybody and understanding, like, I know everybody wants to talk about what you said before, their glory, but I also have a lot of failures and I'm not afraid to share that because, you know what I'm saying, I'm only 24, so it's always going to be something I mess up on. So, you know what I'm saying, just sharing that with people so that way they can, you know what I'm saying, not make the same mistake is something really important.
Very cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man,
you.
most definitely.
Appreciate you sharing the story. Good to
Yes,
see you
sir.
again. And
Thanks for supporting the expo too.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Okay,
it.
most definitely.
I hope
See
it was
ya.
good.
Yeah.
Bob, you got anything else for him?
No, we'll talk later too.
Follow our sponsors, Peoplease. Use code PPLSTRIKE, PPLSTRIKE. And we'll see you next time.